Welcome guys to another live session here. Today we are looking at US30 and we have an SP scenario that is about to play out right here. This again is a live example of liquidity bars at work, and today we're going to walk you through a potential buy scenario for US30. So guys, as we stated in the intro, we are looking here at US30 on live price. We have taken the original liquidity that was built across these lows. We have, from this point, converted into buy orders. Once we hit this SP right here, I'll be expecting price to run up into these higher areas. And in turn, when we get to here, I'll be looking for the higher time frame SP to be hit, leading us into the collective move of running these highs here. Now overall, the buy side origin for these highs is located above the Asia session that happened yesterday. So I'm looking for this to run this SP here to confirm our bullish movement, and then overall take the highs out. So as always guys, we'll be back with you if we either run this or it does not get to where we want it to be. Okay guys, so at this point we have liquidated both of the lows now. Our SP has not been hit, so at the moment we are continuing our bearish price action. Now we've liquidated these lows, if we come up and take the SP, that is a pretty good sign that we have shifted liquid from one side of the market to the other. If we of course do not run the SP from here and we continue to shift lower, there will simply be no entry for us to take. So of course, as always, catch you guys in a second. Okay guys, so you can see here that we are pushing down again. We're going to wait for this candle close here, which is going to happen in the next 15 seconds. And if we close out below this low, then we will reassess where we look for our entry, and we will be back to let you guys know exactly what is happening. What's going on guys? We are back now with US30, and you can see right here that we have taken the SP. We have now played back into here. We've taken our first high, which is the SP within this area, and we're expecting a bullish move from this point right here. Okay guys, so we had our nice impulsive move from the order block highlighted. We're now looking for further expansions to the upside whilst keeping this gap open. Okay, which is our imbalance created at impulsive movement from the order block. And we are looking for these highs to be ran. This high to be ran, a tap onto this SP, which will lead us into the higher time frame liquidity movement. Alright guys, we have seen a lovely movement here which triggered our SP. We pulled back to the order block. As we stated, we were looking for an impulsive move. Beautiful move higher, imbalance given, price taps in if you didn't already get your entry off of this, and off we go. Now we've hit the buy side origin here, and I'm expecting price to consolidate and maybe deliver a slight pullback. Now if it doesn't and we hit this SP, then essentially we are going to be running some of the major highs within here, and it will take us back up to the origin of the buy side here, which sits around the 385 level. Now if that is the case, the potential for this trade has turned from a simple 1 to 5 into like a 1 to 10, 1 to 15. So some real big potential. But of course, if we take our entry at this point, knowing that the area of liquidity that we're using for our confirmation has been hit, so for example entering here and then we hit, we need to be, again, as we stated in our previous videos, mitigating risk and securing our position, because we know that this may just grab liquidity and essentially fall back down to where our entry point is. Now if that does happen, that's fine, because you should be partialing out as you move within your targets. Keep an eye on this, and again, we'll be back when there's something to update you guys on. Okay guys, so you can see now price has run up to the buy side origin as we described prior to price taking off. We now have bounced once off of our nearest area of demand. We have now broken through the demand area left from that bounce. Now this is important to us because it tells us a couple of different things. One, price is reallocating locations of orders and liquidity is being moved lower into our range. It also tells us that the SP above, which is the trigger for our higher time frame run of liquidity, has not been hit, meaning that this may only occur within the smaller to intermediate time frame. Again, as we said earlier, this is why we must take partials and overall mitigate our risk as price moves through our targets, especially if you're looking at a multi-time frame setup like this, where we have used the 1 minute as our entry, the 5 minute as our nearest reference point, and then the hourly as our overall target for long-term holding of this position. So at the moment, we are looking at price running back into the area that we have highlighted down here. So we are looking at right now this area, okay, which we actually don't have highlighted. I'll mark it up now. This area is responsible for price taking off into this high. So if we do drop down within here and react bullish, again, if we deliver price action pretty similar to what we had at our entry point, then that will be ideal for a possible secondary entry. Of course, using caution, as we know this is a counter trend move. Mainly, if we do come into here, look for the same scenario to run up to the highs. If we do not come into here, we may see a reaction from this order block right here, which is where we're at the moment, and we may just tap into this fair value gap and push higher. Now, at the moment, I'm more set on this area of demand. Prices impulsively moved through our area of demand delivered right here. We've now taken out the previous low, which can be classed as inducement, and we are tapping into the order block that is present right here. I preferably would like to see the lower end of this range slightly mitigated, allowing price to expand more heavily through the highs. Now, of course, if it doesn't deliver this, we will just continue to watch it fall deeper in towards where we took our entry, as we have already partialed and mitigated our risk. The same thing applies. Expect the higher time frame targets to only be hit once we have confirmed that shift through liquid highs. Okay, so you can see that we're coming in towards the area of supply that we've highlighted above. The idea of this area of supply is to fail. If this area of supply fails, then we can lead higher into the price action that we were looking at on the hourly time frame. Now that is a rather large volume imbalance gap that has formed just below it, which tells us that there could be a potential of a pretty heavy move through our highs here. Until the SP is taken though, expect it to remain a short-term move. So we've come down to the order block that we essentially said we wanted to get to. We've come down from the supply area with little to no structure. So based off of this, if we close within the fair value gap that we have marked here at the low, you see right here, if we close within here, which is looking like we may, we'll need to see the next two candles deliver price higher. And if we do fill this gap, I would expect the lows to be round and this to remain a short-term scenario. At the moment, we have no structure to use to confirm price action moving higher within here. But as it stands, we are actually seeing the preferred scenario. You can see that we have closed within here. Now we're bullishly moving out of this. We need to see this price action continue, taking us up above our previous high. This is why ideally we would like to see a more pullback narrative move, bringing us back to these areas of demand, so we can use structure as reference, just as we did for our entry. But if it doesn't deliver to us, we read what price is telling us, and we use that as our guidance. At the moment, though, this is looking good for a pullback all the way to our high. If we do get that, brilliant. Entry points are here, so whether you essentially got out because price came back is going to be down to how you're managing your trade. Personally, like I say, it's a smart idea to mitigate and manage your position at each short-term target, just in case long-term goals aren't achieved. Again, we will let this play out, and if it decides to go bullish from here, brilliant. If we hit this higher time frame SP as stated earlier, then we'll be looking for price to run into the highs. Right guys, so you can see that we have pushed out of the fair value gap in the manner that we wanted. In this case, we've come back down again. So unless we push up from this point now, I would pretty much say that this is running the lows here. We do have some heavy red folder news coming in within the next 5 minutes. So we will leave the recording going until price essentially reacts to news. But like I say, I'm not expecting this to give us anything crazy right now. Also, depending on where exactly you got in, you may already have been taken out of this trade. But the principle was shown for the short-term scenario. We have walked you through as per what we expect within this movement in price. So hopefully you've enjoyed, guys, and I'll leave the video running until news comes in, and then we will cut recording off. So as we expected, guys, price has pushed through the lows here. Again, we said about this earlier. The fact that we pulled back more than once told us what we needed to know. Again, news has come in and pushed us through the lows. If you've enjoyed this commentary and this live walkthrough, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you drop us a comment. I'll catch you guys in the next one.